I know you guys just can't get enough of Kim and I, right? So we're doing something off the cuff. We just kind of want to talk about just something, just relax, having some fun. And I thought, what, Kim, let's talk about relationships, right? This whole dating thing. This whole dating thing.
Well, let me tell our listeners, we were just talking off camera and Gilia was like, what should we talk about? And she was like, well, what about relationships? And my face was like, yes, let's talk about relationships. You want to talk about marriage? You want to talk about dating? And I just want to know, I find this very comical because I've been actively avoiding being in a relationship for three plus years. And I'm like,
oh my, I'm in that. Yeah. Let me see.
You would think I was in a happy relationship and I wanted to talk about it.
No, right. No. And that's what was so funny. It's been 3 years. I've been in a relationship as well. And, and it's so funny because it's not that I avoid talking about it because I find myself, this is the funny thing. I'm not in a relationship, right? I'm not, actively dating or even in a relationship. So I just think they're different. You could be in a relationship and just not dating, right? Or you could be dating and not in a relationship. It's so crazy. Yeah, there's so many things going on. So, but I find myself advising people moving into a relationship / dating or already in, letting them know, do you think that this is the right situation for you?
Let's talk about it. First, I want to know what you advise people on, but then I want to know, are you actively looking for a relationship? Are you looking for that special someone?
Well, I want to know the same of you. Why you want to know? Oh my God.
Yes. My answer is very quick and easy. Yes, Raphael Sadiq, if you are looking to date someone, please call me. Please leave a comment.
Well, it's so funny because Nori, my daughter, is always saying, okay, mommy, Kevin Hart or Justin Timberlake, right? And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Why those choices?
Yeah. I was
like, it's for her or for you?
Yeah. She's like, mommy, which one? Because I talk about Kevin Hart all the time. And then, I love Justin Timberlake. So I do throw her off the cusp, right? Because this is real. We're always about real talk, and it's all about truth, right? She goes, mommy, which one? Kevin Hart, or Justin Timberlake, right? And I said, Queen Latifah. She goes, what?
Can we take a moment? Can we just pause for a moment to
Absolutely.
I'm like, just when you say Queen Latifah, like, is she not the most beautiful, elegant, talented?
Yes.
Like, you said Queen Latifah, and I'm like, I love her.
Yes. From UNITY.
Yeah.
All the way.
UNITY.
Yes. Right. And
to Living Single.
Yeah, rap.
To Set It Off.
Dancing and the whole night. Yeah.
I mean, she is a pioneer, not only in the rap game, but just for women. Like, she's definitely a role model.
Oh my gosh, she is.
And she's just classy and I don't know how old she is, but she looks freaking amazing.
I think she's around, I'm not putting my age out there, but she's around my age.
Yeah, she looks Queen chef's kiss.
We're about the same age. Yeah. So, but I know what I advise people like on relationships. I knew a couple that technically should have never gotten together, right? And a lot of those. I said it, right? I said it before the unity happened, right?
To them?
Yes. Oh, well,
before they were together or after?
I would say to the one that I'm more communicative with, right? So and it's so funny that because often we get with people.
I'm having a hot flash. Sorry.
We're there. And it's real.
Proceed. If you see me glistening, it's hot flash. No. You said real talk. You said real talk over here.
That's what I love. I was like, menopause is live and real. I am lucky right now one hasn't hit me. But no, I what disturbs me is, people come together or they are attracted to another person based on the outer appearance, right? They don't take,
The
and
physical
granted,
only.
yeah, and granted, I mean, that's probably the initial occurrence, right? You got to have something to actually want
Nothing
to
wrong with
step.
that. Yeah.
But
Nothing
yeah,
wrong with that.
I just don't move like that. But
Just not
yeah,
only
so
the physical.
right. So you don't, you're so caught up in that and you don't even know what's inside, right? You know,
Mm.
what do they love? You know, what do they like to do? Who are they? You know, where is their soul, their heart, their desires, get their
Ambitions,
perspectives on life and
character.
all that. Yeah, none of that because
Mm.
they're really ready. They are fine. I want to get with this individual so that I can lay them because it's all about that physical and that intimate. You know, I want to get there. And so you can do that, right? Get there really quickly. And then at the time that is over, that intimacy is over, and the intimacy I'm talking about, because there's all different kind of intimacies. There's a sexual one, or there is just, the one like physical, just kind of holding, being together, getting to know, talking, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm talking the sexual intimacy. You get in there, and then you're done, and then you're like, I don't even like this person. Now I'm stuck,
Mm.
merged our energies together.
The soul
I have
tie.
you have some of me, right? And let's keep it real. What are you transferring into one another? The I would call it data to be clean, right?
Yeah.
That you're
Yeah.
transferring into one another. So now you're
Wait. You're talking about something very important. Can we back up and slow down? Let's talk about this. I just want the listeners, because there are a lot of folks that may not have heard what you're telling us about the transfer, the merging of energies, the merging of data. Can I
yeah.
just I just want you to say a little bit more about that, because that
Yeah,
is
what people don't
excellent.
understand, you're right. Sex is more than just sex. And
Okay.
I'm having a good time. It was great or not, because sometimes it's not, but you
And
say it
sometimes
is.
it's not. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's not.
It's more than just that. Quick second, minute, 30 minutes, 20, however long that it
5
lasts.
seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad. Yeah, right. I'm hoping for the longer time span. But yeah, it's more like you are actually merging your energies together when you are coming together that closely, right? That tight,
Ooh.
connecting, intertwining your bodies, right?
Yeah.
You are intertwining your energy, right? You are your data. Your data from you goes into the other person. The other person's data goes into you. So no matter if you're done after your session, per se, you are still carrying that individual around, which is why you're constantly having
Character.
conversations. You're constantly having this infight with yourself. Like, I thought I was done and blah, blah. And it's more I think women have this capacity more than men, because
Yeah.
men
We're
operate.
receivers. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, the women operate just like, I mean, now there's some women, out there that's kind of like the same as men. They can pretty much just lay it on the line and just bounce and be like, good. So that's what I'm saying. We take this because the sexual chemistry may be good. We take that part of it as everything. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, oh, I want to be in this relationship for this fact, not knowing that it has a greater impact down the line, on our physicality, right? Mental, it just, our heart, our soul. I mean, we're not thinking a lot when we're combining like that. And I know there's listeners out there right now, is like, oh my God, you make this so complicated when we're just trying to get a quick
Oh
fix.
no.
But
Yeah,
it
I don't think it's
is
complicated though. It
right.
it makes sense.
Right.
And
Because
and
do you
I just want to say something, like, from a, I'm very obviously, Gitch, I'm spiritual and very woo woo.
yes.
But when you talk about, like, that data transfer in spiritual terms or even religious terms, it's called a soul tie, right? You're
Exactly.
tying yourself to their soul. But also, you're getting their energies, their spirit, their sometimes entities, sometimes they're demons, right? As well as their
Exactly.
trauma. So if someone that you have sex with has a lot of trauma, or depression or suicidal ideations, you possibly could be getting what is in them and you have no idea.
Is that
Like, we
crazy?
honestly don't know the traumas that everyone carries around or their thoughts in their head, or if they have demonic attachments. So I just wanted to say that
Isn't that
from a
crazy?
very spiritual perspective, because they all go hand in hand, the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual.
Right. Because have you ever, been with someone, and they're not the right person, right? But you've now already immersed your energy. You've had the intimacy with the individual, and you're like, I'm not interested, but you still find yourself you keep coming back.
Can't
You know,
let go.
you're just not letting
It's
go
a
because you
like
merged
you're
your
tied to tell it,
exactly. That has
tell it.
happened. Okay, I shouldn't. I mean, I put too much out there about me, but that has happened to
I
me.
think it's happened to everyone. Don't
Yeah,
don't feel like you're
I
alone or
won't put
you're
a number
putting
on it. Yes,
that's
and
happened to everyone.
oh yeah, and you want out so bad, and you just cannot figure out, why am I still
What is
in
this
this?
tie? Yeah.
Why am I so connected? Why won't this let me go?
Or even why do
It's
you still think about them?
exactly,
Days, weeks, months, years, for some
exactly.
people, decades later.
Yes, yes. And so that's why I say it's just so much more to it. You got to be careful on who you merge your energy with, who you connect your body to, right? So basically, I was saying to this individual that the person does not care for you. They're with you for what you can offer. Because I felt like this person wasn't they weren't performing from a job perspective. Like they didn't have a job, they didn't have a household, they were, you know what I mean, they were so
Yeah.
basically they're connecting with you because you can give them a roof over their head, you can supply their means, but the person was like, the person I always communicate with, they were like, no, I feel like we do love each other. Now, granted, I will just say the individual I talk to all the time um, uh, had this strong attachment, this strong, just was in love based on looks, right? So all it really took for the other person to do who needs the roof over their head and it just to
Kind of
come in that
leeching.
direction. Yeah, just to come in that direction, even though the person said, person B, that's the other person. A is who I talk to all the time. Person B said to A, I'm not looking at you that way. I don't want what you want. And has said it over and over. A is like, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm gonna get with this person. I'm gonna do
And they're in a
whatever.
relationship?
Well, they were moving in that direction at the time, right? And I kept saying, listen to what someone tells you. If they are not interested, and they don't want to be with you in that way, move on. And nope, nope,
Mm.
nope. I really want to be with a person. So then you start buying things, taking a person on trips. You're paying for everything. You buy a car, you let them live with you, then you let their family live with you. Of course, now that person's like, oh, I love you. I want to be telling A, I love you. I want to be with you because she's getting everything that she wants, right? And so A is like, oh yeah, now we're together in a relationship. But even though they're together in a relationship, when the fallout comes, because everyone argues, I I don't want to be with you. I didn't want to be in this in the first place, da, da, da,
Oh,
right? So yeah, come to find out, so I've been trying to show the signs and trying to, let them know that this is not the relationship for you, move on. To end result, after all the conversations that all the meetings that I've had with A, they are now officially the person B has been kicked out of the house. They are broken up. I think they're trying to salvage a friendship, which I said I don't know that that's possible,
yeah, just let it
but I'm
go.
allowing them to move in that direction. But yeah, but at least it's over. And person A really understood everything that I was saying and said, "You're right, I was being used." And it's funny
Wow.
when everyone outside of you can say, you're being used. You know what I mean? But you can't see it. It's almost like I say to family I'm just gonna say it, I say to my brother, because I talk to my brother, your cousin. I talk to him all the
Yeah.
time, and I try to tell him when he meets people, and I get to know the situation. I'm like, that's not for you. This person
Mm.
is not in line with where you're going, or this person doesn't feel the way that you feel. So you need to, at this point, decide if it's a friendship or it's nothing. It doesn't take me much time to figure out. Granted, therapy background, family therapist. This is what I did. Uh, I love the mind. I love
Right.
the mind so much. So I spend so much time understanding it, right? And I'm
And
so into
you coach
people.
people. You
Exactly.
you
I'm
coach and
so
advise people
I'm so
because
into
of your
people. I'm
therapy
watching.
background.
Ex-
Yeah.
exactly. I'm so observant. So that's what I try to do is allow people to save themselves some time, right? And I'm not
Mm.
saying just because I can see these things and I can help other people, I don't make those same mistakes. What I will tell you is typically I don't make those mistakes if I'm holistically well.
Talk
Um,
about it. Let's
yeah,
talk about it.
yeah.
What does
When you're
holistically
not
well mean?
holistically well, right? And your balance is thrown off, based on deaths, right? Just maybe a different kind of trauma. You could be giving birth, right? Or it just things that happen to you that can send you, in a depression, a postpartum, somebody having postpartum, I had it postpartum, right?
Could be a
Um,
job
yeah,
loss,
I've had
postpartum,
that job, but so
anxiety. Yeah.
those things impact us, and from a, it could be depression from a mental standpoint, right? And so you start looking for, and I would tell you from losing family members' death, you start looking for someone to love you because you've
Yes.
just lost
Yes.
your loved one.
Yes.
So you want someone to love you, and you're not looking at who they are, what character they have, their soul, or anything. You're like, this person just gave me some attention. I am
You want to
hurting
fill
so
that
bad.
void. Yeah.
I need love. And that is where I made a lot of my bad decisions. And we get to talk
All
about
of
that
us.
on our grief
Yeah.
show. We will be able to talk about a lot of the bad decisions I made from a relationship standpoint, because of all of the grief that occurred in the past from 2019 to this past February,
Well,
constantly. Yeah.
let me ask you, cousin, someone who's listening right now that isn't holistically well and may have a question for you about, hey, I'm not holistically well. Like I'm financially not where I want to be, or I'm suffering from depression, or I'm postpartum, whatever is going on in that person's life, but I desperately want to be in a relationship. What advice would you give them?
Well, what kind of relationship do you want to be in?
Romantic.
Okay. Thank you. So how can you say that you have a lot going on? So how can you say you desperately want to be in a
Mm,
relationship with all the things that you have going on? Why would you want to do another individual that disservice? You're not at your
mm,
100%.
right.
People make the mistake to say, I need the 50-50. You know what I mean? Like a person comes to you with 50 and then I got 50 and there's
I
your
need my other
100%.
half.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, yes. Thank you. I like that better. Yeah, that's because that's what they really say. I want my other half. Why? Don't you want a 100% person? Don't you want a 100% person?
Or don't
So
you want to
you're
be 100% person?
yeah, yeah. So you're not at your 100%. And when you're in a relationship, you're not going to be focused on what those trials and tribulations that are currently going on with your depression, maybe job loss or whatever. Those are things you have to work on because that is a lot of work. And so
Yeah.
is a relationship. That's what
Yeah.
people don't understand. You jump in a relationship and what you think it's no work? No, that is work.
A lot of
So,
work.
yeah. So I would say, please work on yourself. Let me help you work on yourself. I will tell you the tools and the movement you need to make to be 100%, right?
Mm.
Like, or you could be like 40%. Let me get you to 60%. And then let's talk about what you're looking for in a relationship. Right now, we can't even do that because you don't even know, who you are right now. You're drowning in all of your sorrows and depressions and all that kind of stuff. You can't even breathe right now. So we can't even talk about what you would be looking for, right?
Mm.
So, and you don't want to look for a relationship until you know what you're looking for, right? You don't want to jump out there and get a relationship. You want to know what you're looking for. You don't got time for that right now. So that's what I would say. And a lot of people
Great
don't.
advice.
They don't look at what are you looking for? Like, Kim, do you know what you're looking for in a relationship? Do you think about that? Don't come around the corner. I'm sorry, this
I'm
is
not.
real talk.
Is that my girl?
Yes. And I was like, because I don't know what. Yeah.
I was like, she can come in. I'm not looking for a relationship. And
Okay, you're not looking for a relationship, but
because I
are
know
looking.
there's work that I want to do to be whole, like you were saying, to be whole and happy and healthy. And for me and for a lot of other people, I think we need to focus on taking care of ourselves. Like we think someone is going to come in and buy us flowers and take us to the movies and rub our feet. Are we doing that for ourselves? Are we buying ourselves flowers? Are we taking ourselves to the movie?
Love yourself, take care of yourself, woo woo yourself, you know, that
Yep.
exactly. And why do we say, are you looking for a relationship? Why are we looking for a relationship?
That's
Why
a good
don't
question.
we draw it to us because we're where we need to be?
Attract it instead of chasing.
Exactly. What do you think you're going to get when you're looking? Look, have you ever been online dating because you looking for
Girl.
what
Woo!
have you found online dating? Now I won't take away from
I
somebody
have
that
found nothing but thoughts and prayers, sorrow and disgust,
exactly.
heartbreak. And I hear, and I'm not saying that's everyone. I hear people say, oh, I met my wife or husband online, but I'm sure that's 1%. And then I hear the 99% of what everyone else is finding online. It's very
Exactly.
inorganic. It's very inorganic.
Yeah, and you're looking. That's your
You're
looking and allowing
searching
it to yes,
with a
yes.
magnifier.
And right. And you get all
Is he there?
right.
Is he there? Is she
Exactly.
there? maybe
And you
that's
get
her.
what?
Maybe that's
And,
him.
right. And you get crazy. Right? You get crazy. Yeah. That's what shows up.
Crazy. Crazy.
Crazy. Or they're not who they say they are.
Yeah.
Why? Why
Or
couldn't
they're
you
already in
tell?
a relationship.
Oh, yeah,
I
exactly.
think they
Why?
said single men online are the highest rate of people that are already married.
See, isn't that crazy? Why? 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 And then someone will say, our listeners will say, okay, then how do I find, if I'm not online? One, we just said don't look, let it come to
Yeah,
you.
tell them.
But how, yeah, but how does it come to you? And that would probably be the biggest question. If I am not putting myself out anywhere, how does it come to you? Well, if you are in your house and you never come out your house, 9 times out of 10, I mean, it's not going to find you. But you got to come out to go grocery shopping, right? You will be
UPS.
you'll be shocked, if it is meant for you. Because I do believe that, as we journey through this life, there is that thing. It's been written in our book, right? Because we're a book, right?
Okay.
What's for us, right? Because if you notice, when you look, you always find the wrong thing. You either end up in an abusive relationship, you're divorced, or all the things,
No,
right?
you're right.
Yeah,
Can you say
yeah.
that again? When you look,
When you look,
when
you
you're
get
when
you
you're the one looking or chasing,
yes, you'll end up in a domestic violence situation, a cheater, eater, pumpkin eater, whatever,
because you shouldn't be looking.
divorce. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So it it's coming to you. You could be I know some who met their significant other, their wifey's, husband, in the store. I was just getting some tomatoes, and we are now married
Probably
2
looking a
years later.
mess. Yeah.
Yeah, looking a mess. And that's
Yeah.
the thing too. Let's talk about that. Why as women do we feel like we've got to put it all together? Why we
Talk about it.
yeah, I don't they laugh at me all the time how I go to the store. I look a hot man. I have on some Crocs. I would have on some, I don't know, rat cottage. I don't look the part when I go to the store, right? I'm not looking. for
But
anyone,
why
right?
should you? Yeah, you're going to the grocery
Exactly.
store, not the Met Gala.
Yeah, and I will get someone talking to me and just be like, "Hey," and we'll strike up a conversation, or "Hey, maybe we should exchange numbers." And I'm just like, "I'm not. No, yeah, no, I'm not. I was coming here to get, Nori some
And you know why I think
fruit
that
juice."
happens to you is because you are so comfortable in your skin and you radiate authenticity, which is what a lot of us, I'll just say us, don't have. And by you going to the store and whatever you're going in, just picking up some tomatoes and yogurt, people are like, ooh, because like you said, it's not just the physical, it's your inner you that exudes out. And people, because once again, I'm a big believer in energy and
Oh,
the law of attraction, right? So you know that you have seen a beautiful person, man or woman, they look stunning, just fly. And you get close to them and their energy is so off, and you are like, oh no, this person is
yeah,
stank on the inside. Just
right.
like you can go to the store looking however you look and people flock to you. People are always
Exactly.
talking to you.
Well, yeah, and I also say too, when you do meet someone and you're excited, you guys have the conversation, ask all the questions.
And what question should we ask?
Because even if, yeah, I could be at the store, I meet somebody, blah blah, and if I do decide, I will exchange numbers. Number one, they may not want to by the time I'm in the store and you're thinking, oh, you're interested in me. Okay, I'm going to start asking a whole bunch of questions. Oh, do you live around here? Oh, do you have any kids? What do you do for a living? We're in the store. You just met me. Get ready, because
You
Nori
sound
does it all
so,
the
but
time.
you do it so casually. I love
I
it. Oh, do you have any kids?
Yeah,
Oh, you
yeah.
got 5 kids?
It just
Okay.
my Rob
Or baby
always
mamas?
says you ask so many questions. I annoy him so bad. And Rob, you guys being my brother, her cousin, when she says guy cousins, we say we got so many,
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. So he's one.
But
I
that's
know
how
he's like,
you
you have
get to know
so many
people.
questions. I said, I'm very intrigued on knowing who you are. If you're trying to intertwine in my life, I mean, and you want my phone number, I'm not just gonna give you my phone number,
Right.
right? Like that, I know
Right.
nothing, right? Because I'm not looking at the outside.
Right.
And to go further with that, you to backtrack on the outside, the outside diminishes. I know I'm up in the age range. I still look good though. I mean,
Yes,
yeah,
you do.
you know, all the Carol. Yeah, but I'm at the age range where that starts slacking. I'm in menopause.
Exactly.
I can't get my weight to be what it needs to be
Same.
because of my
Yep.
hormone levels, right? I'm getting older, so the gray is coming out. I have 11-year-old, so you know, um, that happens.
Look, I got the gray. I got the
Right,
gray.
exactly. So all that outer is going to diminish, right? So what am I left with? Who I am.
Yeah, your heart.
Yes. Who am I? So that's why I lead with the questions. You know, who are you? I don't really, I mean, I'm going to tell you right. I mean, if you really broke down looking a hot mess and this is our first meeting, I'm not going to so let's not get it twisted. I'm not going to give you my
Well,
phone
but that
number.
says something
But
too
if
if
I,
someone is broke down, right? Like
yeah,
what is going on with you that you're not taking care of your basic
right. That's my initial, yes.
hygiene.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So there's so many levels to this. And I don't want to confuse people, but so many levels. But you ask all the questions. Don't just throw your number out. Who are you giving your number to? That nobody even thinks about. They're like, oh, they're right on it because you might be cute, right? Here, right on the hand, or here, put it in the phone. Who is that? You
Right.
didn't even know, but the name. And I don't know about you, Kim, but I'm at the age right now. You could tell me your name, but by the time I get out of the store, I don't even know it.
Not a clue. Did it start with a J
Yeah,
or was it an R?
exactly.
And you know what I love
Exactly.
about young people today? They don't give their number out. They give like their social media handle. Like I'm on TikTok at lovely cutie pie 521. And I'm like, and I used to think it was crazy, but now I'm like, that makes sense because you can see this person's, well, their public persona. You can see their life if you have anything going on, and they don't have something so personal as your phone number. They have what everybody else has.
Interesting. Well, I'm still old school. That's
Me too.
interesting.
Me
These
too.
young people move differently.
We're 50 plus. Well, I'm
Yeah.
not giving you my social media. I barely know my social media handle.
Wait a minute, you said we're 50 plus? I'm 35-ish.
Okay,
Somewhere
I'm 50 plus. You're
around
30 plus. I am the more mature wise cousin
there.
because I have more
I'm 30.
age.
Yeah, I'm out there just, I'm
You like
35.
we
Yeah, wait a minute. Back that thing up, right? No, yeah. So I just think that without, caring for, because we could talk about it forever, um, we don't ask enough questions. First of all, we look at someone or entertain a possible connection with someone based on outer appearance.
Yeah,
And then
I've done
second,
that. I've done that.
yeah, I have.
Have
I
you ever
have.
done? Yeah, I've done.
Yes,
I'll
yeah.
be honest, I've done that.
I'm not
And then you get
perfect.
to know them, and you're like,
If I, yes, if I could turn back
back
time.
time. If I could find a way. Sorry, Cher. Sorry
Oh,
for
okay.
butchering your song.
Right. So, yeah, so that's the thing. You don't, you want to make sure that that's not how you move, the outer. And then also when you connect with an individual, get the basic questions out before you give your phone number, and so giving your phone number is giving your time. That's what they don't
That's
realize.
true.
Giving your phone number is giving your time. Is this person worthy of your time? You don't know. You just gave your phone number. You have no idea. We don't have a lot of time, these days
Well,
to
what
spare.
about a listener that's playing devil's advocate? Like, well, how do I know if they're worthy of my time if I don't give my number out to talk to them?
Because you
To
need to
ask the
ask the
basic
question.
questions. Like, so what would you say the basics are?
Yeah, basic, like before somebody's coming up and you meet them. Let's go with the grocery store thing. And somebody's following around the store. I had that happen. I was trying to just get ice
That
cream.
sounds stalker
Um,
vibes.
oh yeah, just because
People, if someone's following you around the store, do not give them your number. Automatically. I don't care how cute they are.
well, just because they didn't know, I don't know how to approach. Maybe I had unapproachable, and finally, by the time I got to the ice cream, I became approachable. I don't know. So, hey, what kind of, they'll have that casual. Oh, what's your favorite ice cream? And that's good because we're
That's
actually
good.
starting out with something. But again, when someone's like, I saw you over a couple of hours in the bread, and I really would like to know you better. Is there a way I can get your phone number? What did you see in the bread aisle like that made you think that you were interested? What was it? Like, and he was like, well, man, you're looking good. Okay, so who are you? Do you live around in this area? What do you do for a living? Just start, I think, are we afraid to ask those questions? I mean, yeah, he saw
I think
you.
so.
Yeah, he saw
Or
you
maybe
like
nervous.
good in the bread area. Okay, great. Who are you? So you're right now, because he approached you, he or she, they approached
Right,
you,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So yeah. So you now have the game plan. You have the control now. So you start asking. So, stop the whole whatever they do. Ugh, I ain't got time for that. Da, da, da. Let's not do that. Say, so what made you interested at me over in the bread aisle? Okay. Do you live around this area? Are you always in the store? What do you do for a living? You can get, why can't he wants your number? He wants your number. So
That's
why
good.
would he ask all those questions?
That's
So
good.
based on, his answers to those, do you have any children? Are you married? I'm not gonna give you, I want to know. You
Yeah,
can't
that's good.
ask you for
You're
your
basically
phone number.
qualifying them, kind of like when you
Exactly.
get
Yes.
qualified for a sale, you have to have this much money in the bank. You have to have like in a business
Right.
scenario,
And
like certain salespeople won't talk to you unless you're qualified for like buying a house. Sometimes you won't even be able to tour the house.
qualification. Yeah.
Pre-qualification. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pre-qualification.
So
Yeah.
you're
And you
telling
don't have to
us
do
to
it.
pre-qualify.
Yeah. And you don't
I
have to
like
do
that.
it. Like if somebody says that's so hard to do, no, it's not. You can just be like, you're married coming over here like that. You don't get a little, humor in you. They'd be like, no, I would be asking you. You got how many kids you got? You got kids?
You could do it funny.
Yeah,
Okay.
funny.
I like that.
I'm like, oh, okay. So is this a store you come to all the time? You
It
come
also
into the
sounds
store?
like
You live in
you're
the area?
telling us to do it for our protection.
Exactly. Don't just, because here's the thing. I've run into a lot of people like, oh my God, yes, I gave him my number. And so when they called, I just didn't answer.
Mm.
Why do that?
Well, for women, sometimes it's easier because sometimes men will crash out if you say no. Actually, some women have been killed for saying no to giving men their phone numbers multiple times. So sometimes it is easier just to give them a phone number and not answer. Yeah.
No.
For safety reasons.
Who's killing over? I'm sorry, I'm not interested. Thanks.
Well, one
I do that
example,
in a
this
heartbeat.
well, this
I'm
happened a
not
few
interested.
it happens all the time, but there's one incident that I'm really thinking of. This man, they were younger in their 20s probably. This man asked a woman for her phone number somewhere down south, and she said no, and it escalated, and he ended up hitting her with a brick and killing her in public with people around. No one came to her aid as this man was harassing this woman for her phone number, and he killed her with a brick. Women have been shot, women have been hit. So yeah, a lot of women do give the number just to get away
That,
from the
but
man.
no, that's isolated.
It happens
Crazy.
more often than it
Ran into
should.
crazy. They ran into crazy because come on.
Because there's great. Let's talk about that. There's crazy out there. There's crazy and very attractive packages, man or woman.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just, I
Oh, and
just,
let me say, if your soul, if your gut senses that crazy, don't try to find out. And a
yeah,
lot of women, I used to rail
I
against
agree.
this when
I agree.
men would say, "Oh, you got a man," and I used to, and when I didn't, I used to be very adamant that you should respect me. And I read this article that said by some social scientist that said men will respect an imaginary boyfriend or husband more than they respect the woman standing in front of them. So now when people ask me that and I'm not interested, yes, I have a man, because sometimes that man will respect the imaginary man more than the real woman that yeah.
Because he
I'm
would be
just
like,
saying,
oh, my
if you
bad, my bad,
yeah,
my
if
bad.
you sense something's off or you're not interested, lie and say you got a man.
See,
Lie
I'm so big about the truth. Why do we have
to save your life
to know that
sometimes.
there's some friends of mine.
Wait. Did you hear me? To save your life sometimes you have to lie.
Well, it's so funny because I just said I know some friends of mine that might be watching this will say, did you just say you just tell the truth? As much as you come up with your long stories because you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. I'm like, yeah, it could be
Yeah,
anything.
it's
I want to be your friend. I don't need any more friends. And yeah, or
because
something.
sometimes the truth hurts and sometimes the truth will hurt you, particularly in male female relationships. 1 in 4, this was in 2022. There's a stat that 1 in 4 Black women die daily, right? And they were unalived by Black men, right? And I'm not saying that Black men were evil or bad, but it's always the proximity. Just like Black on Black crime, there's white on white crime, there's Asian on Asian crime, right? I also heard something the other day that the the most dangerous man to a woman is her husband.
I believe that. I believe it.
So we women, particularly we women, have to be very careful dating, because sometimes and I
And
didn't mean it for it to turn this. I just want to protect women out there who feel that they have to entertain men if they ask for their phone number, for their attention, for dates. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to
yeah,
say no.
absolutely. Absolutely. And and can I just say that don't be don't be so caught up in someone where you don't listen to your support system because you can end up in something that will change the whole trajectory of your life. I found that so much because sometimes your
Or end up
support
dead.
system can
Or end
see
up dead.
I I have someone in my family that did end up dead.
Yeah.
We had a huge support system around her, saying, this is not good. We see all the signs. here's A, B, C, da da, but you're so involved, and now that person's not here.
Yeah.
So I please listen to your support system. Don't get caught up into, you know, um, this facade or this representative that
Right.
gentleman or lady or that's showing. So I say be careful about the representative because they can carry that representative for so long. And there's
That the
so many.
narcissism.
Oh, absolutely. We're going to do this again because there's just so many other layers that we could talk about, because I want to talk about even when you are married or in a relationship and you're living with someone, how you give sole control. You say, oh, let them have at the finances. I have no idea who we pay for mortgage, lights, whatever, utilities. I don't know because he does it. I don't. I
Mainly
love to talk
women. Yeah.
about how important cross training is. So in
Yeah.
relationships. So that's one topic that we have to talk about too. So
About
yeah.
knowing your, because there is such a thing as financial abuse. There's one thing that's like, I just don't know because he handles everything. And then that's easy. Like you're saying, that's cross training. And I would love to talk about that more because you told me the example,
Mm-hmm.
I think with friends or coworkers that you knew, where she handled one thing, she handled
Yes.
these five things, he handled these five things. And you said, well, what happens if one of you passes away or is in the hospital and you don't know where the paperwork is,
Yeah.
right?
Because they're
For
young
insurance
too.
policies.
They're
Yeah.
young. So they're like,
Yeah.
pass away kind of
Right. But you never know. But also there's financial abuse where one partner um is very deceptive in the finances, that you don't know how much things cost. You don't know where money is going in. You don't know how much is coming in. You don't know how much is going out. And sometimes that's very purposeful so that one person, typically in our culture, it's men, have
Right.
control over their spouse, their partner, you know.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I got the thing, well, like, okay, if my husband passes, we'll be put out on the street because I have no idea where my mortgage is. I don't know. I don't know where,
Or the
the
house is
spreadsheet is for
in the
the house.
name of his
Yeah.
other
Yeah.
family down in the next
Yeah.
town over.
And then she jokes and said, so if I do, our kids are going to starve. They're not going to get to where they need to be. When I was like, honey, there is McDonald's and, Burger,
Right.
whatever. There's restaurants that's going to take care of that. You're
Men
more of the
typically get
critical
married
role.
within a year or two after a divorce or widowed. Men get married right away because they need someone
Yes,
to manage the household.
yes. And I'm like, he has that survival data that you need. And I said, I need you to tell me. I said, you can do it this weekend, next weekend, but I need you both to cross train. Relationships is also a business. So
It is
yeah,
totally a
yeah.
business.
So you want to cross train. So I advise that
Brilliant
constantly.
advice.
Yeah.
Brilliant
Yeah. So
advice.
much. We can hit on so many different areas. But to answer
Oh
your
wait,
question,
did you ever
I
tell
know I
me
was
and the
circling
listeners
back.
you're looking for a
I
relationship?
Yeah, I was circling back
Or not
around.
looking. We said not
I,
looking if you want to
you
attract
know,
a relationship.
yeah, well, it's so funny because I have made some really horrible mistakes in relationships. I
Oh,
have
Nicole.
moved, yeah, right. I've moved and incorrect ways to get a relationship, right? And more importantly, and this was even in the past before my mother passed, but after my mom passed, I really just when it called relationships downhill.
Yeah.
I was making all the wrong choices, all the wrong decisions, all the wrong
Because you
picks.
were grieving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and then I always have, in becoming, out of a domestic violent home growing up, I always had this need for someone to love me. So I never picked the right relationships anyway as I was moving through life, right? And then, of course, then it became worse after my mom. So finally, I've come, full circle. All this healing that I've been able to do, and all this work on myself. That I love myself so much, and I'm in such a great place holistically, that I am not looking for a relationship because I'm actually happy. but
Mm.
I don't know what God has planned for me. I know that the book is written. I have a book, right? And I'm like, I have a book, but everybody's a book. Remember, I said that. So I don't, when I flip the pages, I have no idea what, until I get to that page, what that plan is.
Mm.
God wrote my book, right? So I don't know. But I know that I'm not looking, it would have to come to me. And when it does come to me, it's not going to be an easy landing, right? I mean, it's not going to be easy
Hmm.
because I have all the questions. I have all the things that I need, and I have to make sure I'm 100%. So I need you to be 100%. And for me to know, you're ready to get into some
Right.
heavy,
Well,
I'm
let
not
me.
looking for intimacy. I am not looking to merge my data with anybody else intimately. I'm not going to do that. I need to know. I have a daughter who's 11. So there's so many things I have to have in place. So many things I need to know
So
because
you
I
like
do
no free
have a daughter.
cookie, basically.
No, at all. Because I'm so good, right? Like I love myself so much and I'm so
Oh,
good and I don't need there's nothing I need, right? I don't
from
need
someone else.
somebody for
Yeah.
intimacy, to feel good. I don't need that. I don't need someone to help me financially because I am financially set. I don't need anyone for job related. I have a job. I do well at my job. I don't need anybody to have to just sit and talk to because I'm lonely because I'm not. Nori never gives me an opportunity to be lonely, but I have such great support and family.
Right.
You being one, right? I have so much love, right? So I don't need that. So I am so good. My focus is on my daughter, allowing her to stand on my shoulders and getting her where she needs to be. If something
Yes.
comes my way, I will do all of the checks and balances to make sure that it fits, So
Right.
yeah, so that pretty much I know that was long, you know.
Mm-mm,
So
no, it was fine.
yeah, this youthful, nice waves. Somebody can't be bombing in.
Hi, Nori. Hi, beautiful.
Hi.
Bombing in the she wanted to come on anyway. And she came at the wrong time because
Well,
what are we
Nori,
talking about? Relationships.
relationships.
Yes. Oh, did you hear that, see?
No.
She doesn't, what'd you say?
She doesn't need to be in a relationship because she got me and only
Oh,
me.
see, that's you were just talking about that.
I did, yes. But
And I want to say there are different types of relationships.
yeah, okay. In the end, different types of relationships, like you're saying, oh, well, you were saying in the end.
Well, there's mother-daughter relationships,
Yeah.
there's familial relationships like you and me, and then there's romantic relationships. And I think what I am learning, or I should say deprogramming, because in our culture, romantic relationships is the top priority for people. And it shouldn't be.
Right?
It should be high.
No.
It should, like, our relationship to me will be just as important as a romantic relationship with someone that I'm romantically involved with, right?
Right.
Or the relationship with my sons is just as important as a relationship of someone that I'm dating or married to.
Exactly.
And that
Exactly.
takes a lot of deprogramming, because when we're young, we got all these Disney movies and rom-coms that say, once a woman finds a man, she's complete. Like you were saying, with the
Yeah.
50-50
See,
and the
you
whole,
got money. You should already be complete.
you should already be
You're just an
complete.
added benefit to your life.
A
You know?
beautiful added benefit. Yeah.
Exactly. So would I welcome, or am I saying I would not entertain one? I'm not saying I would.
Yeah.
But it
You're
has to
open.
be.
You're open.
Yeah,
Me
absolutely.
too. Like
Yeah.
the last 3 years I have been adamantly not open. Like when we
Oh
talk
my
about,
God, really?
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Cause I had
Why?
the last relationship I was in, it broke my heart. It decimated me, my confidence, my ability to love. And that's what you're saying. Like I had to go within and do a lot of healing work to love myself more. I was pouring all of my love into my romantic relationships, not realizing that what I wanted from them is what I needed to give to myself. Right. And so
Oh,
these
wow.
past 3 years, I've
Deep,
been
yes.
building myself up, loving myself. So now if I get into a relationship, I'm not going to depend on that person to make me feel loved, to make me feel whole, to make me feel good.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm already
Yes.
there. And it's just
Right.
an overflow.
Right.
Like someone
Because
else coming into my life is just an overflow of love, but
right. Because
I'm not bone dry. Like I need your love.
right, exactly. Because just think about it. If you're in a relationship because this person stabilized you financially, when everything else goes wrong, you're going to stay in it because he's stable, he or she or they
So
stabilize
many
you
people do
financially,
that.
right?
So
Or
many people
here,
do
let's
that.
be real. If somebody provides the best sex ever, right?
Right.
You are so hooked on that and they may not have a job, not bringing anything to the table, but it does not matter because they're bringing that to the table. So
Exactly.
really make sure that you are 100% and you are not needy on any and all of those aspects. So
Right.
you're clear.
And things could all be equal in the physical sense as far as, financial stability, home security, like things could be equal and that still could not be your match. And people
True.
still don't want to leave because who am I without this person? I don't want to eat, I don't want to go to restaurants alone. I don't want to travel by myself. I don't want to buy a house by myself. So we also need to look at the emotional, like why are you staying when you know this person may not be an emotional fit or spiritual fit or an emotionally intelligent fit. Sometimes,
Companionship.
yeah, exactly. Sometimes companionship, sometimes people look great on paper. And actually there's nothing wrong with staying for companionship as long
Yeah.
as you
Yeah.
realize that and it's
No.
benefiting your life, not hindering. It should be more good than bad.
Okay.
And when it flips and there's more bad than good in a relationship, it's time to exit. It's time to exit.
Yeah, true. I know that I had someone that retired and wanted to be married, never been married. And I don't want to live life alone. So all the choices have been
Understandable.
so horrible, right? Because I don't
Oh,
want to live life alone. And I said, you're retired now. You can't make no mistakes, right? You pick somebody up that just, you see, you make good money, you're retired well, and you're now, connecting with them because you don't want to be alone and they wipe you out of your retirement. You're at Walmart greeting because you saw your
exactly.
money. So, when you're retired and you do want someone in your life because you don't want to live alone, you even more so have to be careful because you're retired. You're not drawing in the corporate or the
Well, but
where
we want to talk about why I'll just say she. I'm assuming it's a woman or
no guy.
anyone.
Look, guy.
Okay, why don't they want to live a fulfilled life alone? And I'm saying companionship is amazing. And I do feel that, we're not supposed to be solo forever. And once again, like I said, there's
Said it's
many
lonely.
but there's many relationships in one's life that it doesn't have to be romantic. And just because you are alone doesn't mean you have to be lonely. Like I enjoy my company immensely. I go to art museums by myself. I travel internationally by myself. I go to the
Oh my
movies by myself because I would it be nice to do it with someone else? Sure. But even when I'm in a relationship, I'm still going to travel internationally by myself. I'm still going to go to movies by myself. I'm still going to go to restaurants by I have no problem being alone.
I had to get, you know what? And remember, I said I had to get there. Um, and it's so wild
Most
because
of
it's
us
the
do.
best thing since iced tea with the right amount of ice in it. Because if we go
Yeah.
back to your greatness, we don't want too much ice.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, I feel so now, like when Nori and I would travel, you know, there was two layers. I felt like someone always had to be with us, right? And I felt like that probably because my mom was the one that was always with us.
Yeah.
Right? So I was like, oh my God, I can't travel with this baby
There's a
by
void for
myself
you.
because I'm
Yeah.
scared too. Like there's the other factor. Like what if something happens? It's just me and this baby, right?
Understandable.
Yeah. But I had to work on me. One, I had to get through the grief, right? And then
Yeah.
two, why am I afraid to travel with my daughter? What in me feel like I can't protect my daughter? Where are all these fears coming from? So much work I had to do. And now Nori and I, all we do is travel. That's it. Staying at home is hard to do. It's like, where are we going next? You want to do
Right.
Portugal? You want to do Italy? You want to, let's go. You know, and if
Right.
we're going to like a small trip, we're at the beach constantly, just going.
And you're teaching your daughter what it means to be authentic and true to oneself.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Because
Oh my
she
God.
already is like that. She's already like that.
I know she's so different. Yeah. And it's probably because of what I've fed
It's
into.
teachings.
Yeah.
We all learn from the generation before that. Like you and I often talk about our mothers married to our fathers who didn't have the same amount of freedom and choice that you and I have of this generation. Like my mom never traveled to a different country by herself.
See, yeah, my there. Yeah.
You know, when
And
I
my dad
always
didn't
say we
travel other than being
stand
in the
on the
military.
shoulders.
Yeah, he never traveled at all. Your uncle, my dad, he was like, "What for?
Yeah.
What yeah, well, I'm happy where I am out here in all
Well,
my
no,
land."
my dad traveled.
Yeah, he does.
Your
Yeah,
dad traveled extensively in the military.
no, in the service, I couldn't get him to travel for pleasure.
Oh,
and he
for
was
pleasure.
like,
Yeah.
I got everything I need out here, and I was like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
I
But,
almost
think
ended up like that. I almost.
Well, but think about it, women, speaking of our mothers, we always say like couldn't even get a home loan or credit card loan until 74. I was born in 74. So it's understandable but why most women of the generation before us didn't have the mindset. Now there are some that did have the mindset, didn't have the mindset that I don't need to be in a relationship, because women of that time did need men for financial security, to be unmarried in the 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s. Heck, I mean, sometimes even now, are looked down upon.
Exactly.
Like I still have people asking me, well, do you think you'll get married again? Why aren't you dating? Because the pinnacle of success for women in our culture is being married, is having a man.
It's true. That's true. That's true. Isn't that crazy? It's
And
crazy.
you and I are here to let women and men know that the pinnacle of your success in your life is not having a romantic partner. It's loving yourself and living your life to the fullest, and having a romantic partner as wonderful, delicious icing on the cake.
Oh,
if I never have a romantic partner, I am still going to live my life to the absolute fullest. And not having a man by my side is not going to hinder me from any of my goals and my dreams. If I want to go to Portugal and Italy and I don't have a man to take me, I'll just make the money and go myself. If I want to buy a house, you've bought several houses. You in this generation don't need a man to sign a loan for you. Hallelujah.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It's such a blessing. And I honor my mom, your mom, and all of the women that have come before us that have let us have this freedom. Like I'm on a beach in Grenada by myself, and people are like, why are you by yourself? And I'm like, I guess just because I can.
I do.
Well, just like you can buy a house all by yourself. I don't even know how many houses you've bought, and you've done it by yourself as a woman. That was unheard of for your mother and my mother to do. It was unheard of.
I'm up to 31 cars in my lifetime since I was 15. And they were like, who does that?
If we were in a different time generation, number one, you wouldn't have even been able to probably drive a car. I mean,
exactly.
there are women in this world that are jailed and killed for driving a car. And you're up to having bought 31 cars in your lifetime. When I talk about being a woman in this time period, it is miraculous. And I am so grateful to all of the women that have came before us to make this happen. And the men who have signed legislation.
Yeah. That's why I have that concept too. because we've stood on so many great women's shoulders to get to where we are. That's why I say for us with, Kesey and Tay, I used to say that. Now with my daughter, I'm
Your
just
nieces.
allowing you to stand on my shoulders,
Right. And I think you and I want to be that representation and example to other women and girls that we don't even know.
Exactly. Oh my God. I said globally, baby. We global. We lifting and uplifting, motivating, coaching globally. Yes.
I am so proud of the younger generation, and I say that as often as I can. I will see young girls and women out and about, and I will give them some compliment, some praise, so it uplifts them.
I love that.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it to everyone, but
Yeah, I'm sure
particularly,
you do. Look,
yeah, but particularly to young girls and women, because they really need that. Our last show, we just talked about DEI efforts being scrapped by this administration because they really are trying to hinder women's advancement.
Yeah.
Women have worked women of all races, ethnicities, nationalities have worked very hard for women like you and me to live the lives that we lead today. Education. Imagine just like 50 years ago, you and I would not have the education that we have. We would not have been allowed.
No, that's
or the
true.
careers.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, I mean, and to tie that back into relationships and dating, it makes it very difficult to be taken advantage of when you have your own, when you're confident, when you're like, I got my own house, my own car, my own job, my own
It's
degrees,
beautiful.
my own travel experiences.
That's what I train, Nori into having that perspective. I grill it into her constantly. You don't want to need a man for anything. You want to be independent and you want to be able to do everything else. And I did that for, Kesey and Tay as well. And that's why I kind of loved when Kesey led her life that way. Like she was like, I got my own, I'm good. I don't need,
Right.
But that's so important so that you don't end up with a significant other because of a need, right? So, and it's really truly a love and a union, true union. But yeah, we keep on, but we are going to wrap this up.
Love this topic.
Yes, we got more. We have more. You stay tuned. Stay tuned. We have more coming your way because this bounces off other relationships about, marriage, and we just could keep going on and on, and roles. Even let's talk about, the, we want to say that I never get those initials right, but we'll say like, gay relationships, you always say it right. Yeah, isn't that horrible? It's too many. I can't, I stop at LBGQ.
It's a lot because sometimes they keep. I mean, there's a plus there. I don't even know what the plus is.
I'm so glad they said plus. And so the
relationships. And I'm cognizant that there might be people that don't know what that acronym is.
So we got to do a segment on that.
LGBTQIA plus is lesbian, gay, trans, LGBTQ, queer. I is intersex. A is asexual, and there's more.
And then you forgot the B.
Oh, bisexual.
Yeah. So so many. So we that's another show we're going to talk about too. Real excited to talk about that show as well. So I'm telling you, we got so much good stuff for you. Until next time.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.